Hey, what's up? People Pizowell here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Terminator Dark Fate. But before I dive into the review, I want to address the elephant in the room when it comes to this movie and say that I in no way want to go down the rabbit hole of discussing the controversies that surrounded this film upon its release, because I think it's way too easy to write this movie off and say that its lack of success at the box office or its lack of success with Terminator fans is due to the fact that the film was too woke or too agenda driven. I really think Terminator Dark Fate is a movie that was sledding uphill from day one and is a movie that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this series is completely out of steam. Now, the plot of Terminator Dark Fate is pretty much the exact same plot as Terminator 2 Judgment Day, only instead of John Connor being humanity's savior, a young Hispanic woman is now humanity's savior. And instead of Sarah Connor and a Terminator protecting humanity's savior, we have Sarah Connor, a Terminator, and a modified human who's been sent back through time, who is basically another Terminator, to protect the new savior of humanity. And the big bad in Terminator Dark Fate is pretty much the T-1000 from Terminator 2, only he has the ability to replicate himself, so sometimes there's two of him instead of just one. So I completely understand now why every critic who reviewed Terminator Dark Fate back when the film was first in theaters went out of their way to compare it to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because Terminator Dark Fate is pretty much beat for beat Terminator 2 Judgment Day right down to the ending of the film. And that is the biggest problem with this movie, because Terminator Dark Fate has no identity. Terminator Dark Fate feels more like a cut-rate Terminator ripoff than an actual Terminator movie. And I knew right off the bat that a rocky road lay ahead with this movie, because the opening of Terminator Dark Fate, and I don't think this is a spoiler because it was all over social media. I'm sure everybody knows that the opening of this movie featured the murder of John Connor by a Terminator, because apparently back in the day, Skynet just sent dozens of Terminators back in time as backup to the first Terminator, and they just all wandered around in different parts of the world. They were just wandering around in different parts of the world. So yes, we get a young actor with the CGI'd face of Edward Furlong from T2 implanted upon him. We get a CGI'd Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator, who shows up and murders him right in front of a de-aged Linda Hamilton's face. So all of the hoopla behind Terminator and Terminator 2 and the fact that John Connor is the end-all be-all, the savior of humanity, this movie basically in all of about 3 minutes says, yeah, all that means absolutely nothing. You love Terminator, you loved Terminator 2, well, guess what? Bang, it meant nothing. And now we're going to basically repeat Terminator 2 beat for beat with our movie to remind you how much better that movie was. Why fans of Terminator and Terminator 2 weren't on board with that, I have no idea. And yes, it was great to see Linda Hamilton return as Sarah Connor, and she does what she can with what little she's given. She's a badass, she kicks butt, she takes names, then she kind of just becomes a third wheel, and it seems like for a good portion of the movie just sort of disappears into the background only to reemerge when the plot needs her. But it was still great to see Linda Hamilton return as Sarah Connor, and she delivers a very good performance. It was also really cool to see Arnold Schwarzenegger return as the Terminator, and honestly, some of the best moments in this film involve Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, particularly when he's discussing the past 22 years of his existence and how he became a family man. And that story would have made a much better movie than what we got with Terminator Dark Fate. Mackenzie Davis delivers a great performance as this modified human who's been sent back through time to protect humanity's new savior, and you can really tell that she's giving it her all, and she does what she can with what little she's given. It's just unfortunate that she's not given a whole lot to work with here. As far as the action sequences in Terminator Dark Fate are concerned, aside from one really cool sequence that takes place on a plane, the action in this movie overall is just really uninspired, pedestrian, not exciting, and just really boring. And I'm not sure if that's a problem with the director directing the action sequences or the editor editing the action sequences, but there's just no energy with the action in this film. There's no excitement. It's just very dull. And if I had to describe Terminator Dark Fate in a word, it would be dull. From a storytelling point of view, it's a retread of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. From a character point of view, the new characters that this film introduces, particularly the new savior of humanity, who we're supposed to feel an attachment to, at least for me, that was non-existent. And that's not a fault of the actress. The actress did a perfectly fine job. That's a problem on a script level, on a screenplay level, because just because you call her the new savior of humanity isn't enough to endear her to an audience. And the movie honestly doesn't seem to go out of its way to attempt to endear her to the audience. Now, I know I'm giving Terminator Dark Fate a hard time here, but I really went into this movie with an open mind and with optimism. I wanted to like this movie, or at least find something in this movie to like. And I just couldn't. Watching this movie just reminded me again and again of how much better Terminator 2 Judgment Day is. This movie does not try to carve its own path or create its own identity. It seems like it just wants to leech off of the fandom for Terminator and Terminator 2 and just hope that that's enough to help it find an audience, which obviously it didn't. If you've seen Terminator Dark Fate, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are down in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Dun 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 dun. This series is dun 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 dun. I couldn't help myself. Join the $1 a Month Club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Kevin Smythe, B-Movie Mike, Robbie Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Craig Farrand, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Lauren Dixon, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Pete Toll, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Gonzalez, The R-Rated Show, Fear Fuel, Jason Breitenbach, Brandon Bisdick, Steak Sauce, Mark Striano, Jeff Gardner, The Obsoletionist, Chris Earls, Kevin Fitzpatrick, Randall Beatty, Joseph Hinkle, Hey Isn't That Devon Graham, Christian Hannah Horror, HorrorBreakdown.com, Jeanette Spivak, Orc145626, W.E. Bora, Jeffrey Hill, Dave Vanderhoff, Nene and Jesse, Captain Halloween, and Brad Frazier. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.